Welcome, everybody, to the Lost Coast podcast. Today, we have a very special guest with us, and I'm very excited to introduce you to us all. It's Jacqueline Cohen-Baity. She's so well-rounded, I don't even know how to get started. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but basically, she's got this amazing product she's putting out, a book that involves cooking, music, comedy, the whole McCoy. But I'm going to let her tell you about it today. So, Jacqueline, welcome to the show.
So glad to be here, Corey. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very happy to explain, my new venture of my e-cookbook with comedy stories and yeah, soon to be music. So I have been cooking since I'm about 15 years old. I make various cuisines: Italian food, French food, Greek food, Spanish, Thai, Japanese, Moroccan, West Indian food, Indian, Mexican food, lots of different types of foods. I have my food handler certificate. I had taken 2 cooking classes in Italy. So yeah, I'm well-rounded also, in my cooking, having perfected my skills with spices over many years. So I've done that. I've also been writing comedy since college. So in the book, there are sort of vignettes. They're like vignettes, short plays of different stories. They're not all food-based. One is a computer story, another is a printed story, another one's a toy excerpt in there, and then there's some others. So yeah, really excited. And then music is going into the book. So I actually wrote 16 compositions. There's some French music, there's also some Greek music, Italian music, Spanish music, and then other genres of music: R&B, dance music, there's pop music, there's hip hop, there's reggae, there's various genres. So I'm excited about that. So this book is an immersive digital experience in a kitchen. So when people are cooking, they can listen in surround sound or other types of mediums, their iPhone, while they're cooking. There's also a couple of step-by-step recipes as well in there, in listening to the audio part of it. So it's really exciting. Yeah, this culmination of all these different mediums,
Oh, that's
multimedia
awesome.
experience.
Awesome. Let's take a step back here real quick. I mean, before you got this book started, where were you at? I mean, you were in radio, I believe, also, weren't you?
I wasn't in radio, but I was interviewed by a number of radio stations. My music has been played on a number of radio stations around the world. So I've had a number of listens on one radio station, listeners. A number of stations has played my music, as I mentioned. One of the radio stations, I had 250,000 listeners in 110 countries. I've also done a magazine interview with Canvas Rebel magazine, so they did a story on me as well, so you could find me on there. My artist name is Jacqueline, which is spelled Jacquine. My website is jacquine.com, so really easy, really simple. And I've also done some radio interviews. I mean, I've been interviewed as a guest on radio stations, and you could find that on my YouTube channel.
Nice. So, what you write music, you love to cook, so you just kind of decided to bring all this together and make this book. Now, this book is not a simple, short little version of a book. I believe it's quite intense, really, isn't it?
Yeah, this ebook. I don't sell the print book. I sell just the ebooks in 2 versions. So there's a PDF version and there is an EPUB version. With the EPUB version, people need an an e-reader or software like that. And yeah, so this book is combination of those 3 things: the comedy and the music. The music, I'm a producer, so I write music, I sing. I write patterns for other instruments, so saxophone, brass, clarinet, flute, bass, guitar, many instruments. I do it, so I produce it. I produce the music out of my studio here, and I have a mix and mastering tool. Yeah, and I complete it here.
Is there any music that maybe our listeners would recognize, something that you've done in the past that was maybe, out there that somebody, if we heard it, would kind of recognize?
Well, I have music on YouTube. So some of the music has been played on radio. The other music that I did for the book, I think the only two that would be recognizable because they're not available anywhere is the debut of the video trailer. I did a video trailer for actually promoting the book. So sometimes I show the video trailer, but it's nowhere online. It's only when I have the debut of it, and I invite I invite everyone to the show, and I do a debut of the couple songs. There's like two songs, but other than that, yeah, YouTube would have a lot of the other music. The ebook music, that's not online anywhere.
Okay, so if you want the music in the book, you got to get the book, but you have a lot of your musical is on YouTube then, where we can go and listen
I
to
have a
it.
lot of music on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, well, excellent. We'll have to definitely check more of that out. So tell us in this book, you mentioned earlier that I mean, I guess there's a shorter list of the cuisines that you have not listed than what you did list. So, what's your favorite cuisine though in it? What's one of your favorite, not necessarily recipes, but your favorite cuisine?
Honestly, I mean, I like all of the cuisines, but I mean, I think I would say what is flexible for other recipes, because if you make a tomato sauce, you can use that tomato sauce for different types of recipes. You can make a meat sauce out of it. You can put it on cheese raviolis. You can put it on chicken and have like chicken and peppers and onions. And there's just that flexibility with tomato sauce that I can see, on different types of cuisines as well. So that's where, I mean, I think the flexibility in that is fantastic. As far as my favorite, I love many different types of cuisine. So it's hard to say really what my favorite is, but yeah, I'd say it comes down to flexibility for me.
Okay, so that's great. So this ebook is it going to be ever growing, or is there going to be a kind of a finish point to the book? Because I see a lot of things that people have that they put on the internet. It kind of grows even as it keeps going. Is this kind of the same scenario, or is this going to have a cutoff point and then maybe a series two book or something coming out?
I might do it. I might do another book after this. Who knows, maybe a series eventually. But yeah, I would say that there's more in the works that probably can't talk about here too much because I'm still fleshing it out. But I have plans for some things in the future.
That's great. So this book, um, it's available as an ebook. There's no paperback. There's no nothing like that, or PDF version that you get.
There is a PDF version. There is the EPUB version. It's available online right now with comedy stories and the the recipes as well as photos. But there's not the music in there. So the music will be going into the book soon. I just don't have a firm date yet. But yeah, right now it's just the ebook with comedy stories and some photos and recipes. Yeah.
Nice. So where do they exactly do they go find that at then if
Sure.
somebody
On
was
my
looking to purchase
on my
something?
website, it's available through PayPal. PayPal takes many credit cards, but yeah, it's on jacquine.com. So again, it's JACQINE.com, and they can find my book right there, either on my cooking page or on the main page.
Okay. What kind of emotional attachment have you seen with maybe some people that have gotten the book, haven't gotten the book that you've noticed? What kind of reach out have you had back to you over this book?
Oh, I've had really nice nice feedback from people, who have the book. And one of them, I had given a free ebook to Banks Radio Australia. He promoted it to his network. He talked about my amazing recipes, and then someone else actually put a review out for me as well online. So that was great. But yeah, nice feedback from people who have had the book. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. So it's just going to get better then as we get the music then added to it. Then I'm
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yes. People are interested in buying the book with the music,
Yeah,
too. So,
I think that's kind of a key atmosphere to the whole what you're trying to build here. The cooking, the music. I mean, I can picture it right now, being in the kitchen, the music's going, you got it's there. It just kind of gives that flow. And I'm sure it's kind of like with the cheese and wine thing. I'm sure your music kind of fits to the atmosphere of the actual cooking environment you're in at the
oh yeah,
time, huh?
definitely. It sure does. And what's so nice about it is that, if you click on the table of contents, it has clickable table of contents, so you can click and decide what food you're gonna want that day, based on, of course, the recipes I have. But, if you want Italian food one day, you want Spanish food one day, you want Thai food one day, Japanese food, so you can click and then go straight to the recipes. And so I really like that. Or if you just want to hear a story one day, just go to each of the stories through the clickable table of contents. Yeah.
So when we look up a recipe, say I want to, that Thai food thing. When I click on that
Table
recipe,
of contents
whatever it is,
will take you
does
there.
it have a shopping list too? So like I know I need to go get these ingredients ahead of time?
I'm glad you asked. I have a list of ingredients there. It tells you what to have on hand for cooking. So this way you don't have to run out to the store. So I have a list it's a generic list. It's like basically what to have, like staples, I mean, a staple of ingredients, in other words. So, and it has that. And then I have cooking tips in there as well. So yeah, what to do on that. And then, it's the book is also, it teaches sales as well in a sense, because it's like the do's and don'ts of sales, because it's about a person's journey going through different things. And it has some travel. It relates to some travel as well in there. So it's really quite a culmination of different types of things. And I think, lots of people would love this book because of what it has in it. Yeah.
All right. So how user friendly is this book? I mean, would you say the beginner cooking that's just getting interested could do this? I mean, is it intermediate, more expertise, or is it kind of just there's some's going to be harder than others just depending on the recipe itself?
Yeah, I'd say that some recipes are easier than others. I'll be honest with you, but there's some easy recipes in there, so and also I offer, if someone wanted mentorship from me, I offer a service on that. It's on my website, so they can sign up for that too. But yeah, I would say some recipes are easier than others, and then they can vary recipes as well at home. So it's nice that if they decide they want a different spice and they want to substitute it, they can vary the recipe. So I love that it has that, there's flexibility, in some of the recipes too.
Nice. Too bad it just wasn't as easy as Uber Eats. Just call Jacqueline, get it delivered. It'd probably be a lot simpler for a guy like me, anyways.
Well, when you're cooking at home, you know exactly what's going into your food,
Yeah.
and that's a nice thing, and also you know the cost of things of when you're buying the ingredients and whatnot. So my thing is I try to make it cost effective, also time saving, as well as efficient. So that's what I pride my book on, my ebook on. Yeah, so people can also know what's going into the food. You know exactly, if you don't want to put too much salt in the food, and I don't over salt, I don't over sugar things. So yeah, if you want to know exactly what's going into the recipes, you're at the you're working on the so to speak, like if you're working on a ship, you're the captain, so to speak,
Yeah. Yeah.
not literally, but
No,
figuratively.
no, yeah, no, you're the captain of your kitchen. I mean, that's a good statement. I always was taught, the cooks in the kitchen stay out, so don't get in the way.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's important. I think when you're in the kitchen and and I would say this too, that you don't want to put too much too soon. So it's very important that whatever ingredients you're going to add, you add them as things go, because if you add too much, it's hard to take away. It's harder to subtract than it is to add.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of it's just kind of, somebody's got to adjust those recipes to their personal liking too. If they, like I know, like my dad, he would want to double up the salt deal because he really
Well,
is
also
big on salt.
I mean, I also spoke with someone who's interested in helping. He's a nutritionist, so, he would love to help, tweak, recipes for specific circumstances. So that's good. I'm not a nutritionist, but someone who is a nutritionist, can tweak those recipes, yeah.
Now
And
we
there's
might
some
have some
interesting.
listeners out here today that are like, okay, this book seems really great, but there's some entrepreneurs I'm sure that are going to be listening to this. What's kind of some engagement you can give them, number one through this book and just some advice maybe in their process if they want to be an entrepreneur, going into cooking or going in even into the music deal. What's some kind of advice you can give them?
Yeah, I would say, everybody's going to have their own roads and how they get to where they want to be. And I would say do the things that work well for what you're trying to do. My recipes are my recipes, but someone else's recipe is going to be their own recipes different. Their stories are going to be different. I would say do what works best for you and go in 100 miles in that direction of what's working for you. If there are things that are not working for you, like if you don't get reciprocal communication from other people, leave that aside, move on to, I always go for now, reciprocal communication where there's interest back and forth, there's a conversation going on, and there's interest on both sides, and there's a meeting of the minds. And then I know that that's successful. And now going along those paths is where I'm seeing these great things happen for me.
Excellent. So I'm sure you started this all at a very young age. What was first in your lineup, basically the cooking or the music, or did it just kind of actually come together at the same time?
No, actually, it was the music, because my father discovered me at a very young age. He noticed my singing when I was, about 10 years old, and then my parents bought me an organ. I started to filter out sounds on an organ, and then figured out by myself like how to play, and then later on, started to play piano on my own until I took a couple of lessons, and studied, and that helped. But I'm mostly self-taught, even though I can read music, and I started to play piano, and then expanded out into evolving into other, instruments that I developed, patterns for.
Wow, that's pretty impressive to teach yourself how to play the piano.
Yeah,
And how old were you then,
I
roughly?
was around 10. Oh no, well, I taught myself the organ, at about 10, and then later on, when I was around 15, that's when I started, around that time, 15, 16, started to play piano and taught myself. And then that was actually at 15 years old was when I started cooking. So that kind of came together, but I never saw them as two things together. At that time, I didn't see them as two together, but now I do, but it was, yeah, at a young age, and I would say my comedy came later. That was back in college.
Oh, it's the comedy piece. I mean, how many different things can you do that are like a big hit? And really, you brought them all together now. I
Yeah.
mean, the musical brought into the cooking and
There's
then
some comedy, there's
comedy.
some sound effects in a couple of the compositions, actually. I do voiceover, so I do character voices of my own. So I create character voices. So I have different character voices. And I did a video trailer. So the video trailer has different characters and character voices. So I created these various, characters and put together costumes. And it took me a long time, months to get together, but I finally got the video trailer together, and I had a professional, cinematographer to work on it, a videographer. His name is Nick DeLulo. He did a great job, putting it together. I directed, the film, but he did some extra, direction where he brought out the expressions in me because I had acting many years ago, so I was able to act back in college.
Holy smokes. I mean, yeah, that's what a story. What this book has got to be almost like one of a kind. I'm not sure I've
It
ever
is,
heard
as far as
of
I know.
another book like this. I mean,
Yep.
this is really something that you've just brought to the forefront, and now I can see other people starting to follow, like the wine pairings with all this with dinners and stuff. Now you're taking it a step earlier with the pairing of music to the cooking of the meal. And then we're gonna have to bring the wine into it too, which probably might be my favorite. But no, that's great. This is I'm really
And I sing
excited.
as well. I sing in addition to writing music, I sing and that's part of it. But yeah, that's the thing. It's original, it's different, and if I had to do them all separately, it would cost me a lot of money. But the fact that I can do it pretty much myself. Yeah, I saved a lot of money.
I bet. Yeah. So the best way for everybody to listen to get your book is just to basically go on, was it Jacqueline.com?
Jacqueline,
Jacqueline.com.
Jacqueline.com, JACQINE.com. Yeah,
And
there's
get
no
your
U in
book.
there. There's just JACQINE.com.
Okay. So they go on there, they can just download the book from there, basically.
Yeah, purchase the book.
Excellent. Excellent.
But I will, yeah, I will say that I'm waiting for the music. As soon as that's in there, I'll put that on my website and it'll state that there's music. But right now it's just comedy and as I mentioned, then the recipes and some photos.
So, because I'm not real tech savvy, so how does this work? If they download the book now, will they have to download another book to get the music, or will that come to them later afterwards?
No, what my plans are is to have the book with the music. When they download it, they have the book. So the way it works is they'll have a QR code, so people will when they're cooking in the kitchen, they just they scan the QR code and then the music will play. So it'll be like that kind of thing. But yeah, there's going to be a QR code on the front cover of the ebook, the back cover of the ebook, and also the title page as well.
Nice, nice. Boy, where technology is taking us. Wow, wow. Well, all right, Jacqueline. This was great having you on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners today?
If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel or Spotify, I'm on Spotify. Music is on Spotify, not the ebook music, but my other music. And yeah, definitely just keep up on my website and see what I'm doing on there. I have a banner also that tells like the latest information, new tracks that have come out, and so I'll have to update that. But I have like a news banner on there. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Thank you, Jacqueline, for being on the show.
Thank you too.
I'm going to
Appreciate
bring this
it.
to a close. But as we bring this to a close, I just want to let the listeners know, got to go check out our website. It's all the information's there. If you love food, if you love music, if you love comedy, I mean, how can you not put all three of those together? You need to really check this out. Go check her out on all of her social media pages and give her that follow and that like and make a comment or two. So with all that being said, we're going to take this to a close. This is the Lost Coast podcast, and we're signing off, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much for coming. Bye.
Thank you.